All right, Dale, we are live. Welcome everybody. If you are first to come, we got 5 people that have already joined, so we're ready to go. Everybody, thank you for spending some time with us here this afternoon. We're really excited to bring on Dale Archdeacon. For those of you who don't know Dale, the guy has been around, an industry veteran from a sales training, just mastermind in the skills that he produces. So we wanted to bring him on specifically for our community, simply because we are in the game of scripts and tried and true methodologies that will get response rates, right? But the other side of that is the unscripted, the sales acumen, the professionalism that Dale and his teachings. I've been following Dale for quite a while, ever since I was a producing agent in even the follow-up boss communities. I mean, you've been at it for what, roughly 20 years, Dale? Is that correct?
I started my coaching and training company 12 years ago, but I've been licensed since 2008.
Awesome. Yeah. So you've been through it. You're obviously, I think scripts and sales communications change regularly. And so we want to bring you on. And I think today you're going to go through just the mistakes that are killing results for those that, in our world, we always communicate our KPI, our core metric is response rates. We can't control if you get that lead to the closing table. And so we want to make people give them some useful tips, tricks, and actionable items forward to take that baton after whatever systems you're using, to just be able to effectively communicate your value proposition, get that lead to the next stage of whatever they need. And so I'm really excited for you to take us and walk us through what you have today. But Dale, I'll hand it over to you. This is a little bit of a change. Usually I'm the talking head. I'm going to be taking a step back today. I'll be mining the chat for you. We got some great questions that already came in. So we want to be very action forward, like get all your questions in, the items that maybe your businesses are struggling with, stuff that's happening today in the industry. Feel free to ask Dale as we continue along. But Dale, I'll hand it over to you. Why don't you introduce yourself? If I didn't do it justice already, just highlight anything that I missed, and then let's get going. We'll pull up your deck and we'll get started.
That sounds good. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that I do have a slide in here that just says what I've done, just to lay the context for why I teach this stuff and where this system comes from and why people should listen to me. So I can rely on that slide. But thank you.
Great. All right. Well, let's get going here, because I know you have, a whole session here. We're going to hopefully eat up most of the hour that we have. There'll be Q&A as we continue. We've allocated just little breaks throughout your presentation. But what I'll do here is I'm going to get your slides here up onto the stage, and then I'm going to remove my ugly mug because people don't need to see me. I'll jump in if I see any good questions. But without further ado, Dale, take us away.
That sounds good. Excellent. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Do me a favor, chat in hello I just want to see where I would see the people chatting, because I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions as I'm going through this training. There we go. Okay, cool. We got hellos. Excellent. Wonderful. Sounds good. So I'm talking about 4 scripting mistakes that are killing your results today. And I know that we have a mix of agents. We got a mix of mortgage professionals on here today. In fact, I originated mortgages for maybe a year before I got into selling real estate. So I understand both sides of the aisle, essentially. And so, the question is, how do you get complete strangers to meet with a salesperson, stay in a conversation with a salesperson, respond to a salesperson before they're ready to buy or sell and don't have questions that they want to get answered? That is really what a lot of the problems are that we're dealing with, and where these 4 mistakes come from. How many more appointments, contracts, and closings could you get if you improved your ability to do those things? That's a rhetorical question. You don't actually have to tell us. I'm going to show you those today. So here's where this training comes from. And this is what I'm talking about talking about me. So my partners and I built and scaled a team to over 30 agents and over 650 transactions in our local market. We did that for a number of years. For a while, for about 4 years in a row, we were a top 5 KW mega team. Within that team, I built and optimized an inside sales department. So I was paying people to come in and work the average mix of real estate leads that you all are working right now. And I was able to get to the point where I could take a stranger off the street with no real estate experience, combine them with my unscripted methodology and our average mix of leads. And in their first 12 months, each ISA could produce between 36 and 60 transactions for our team. When I was in production, I didn't have a database, and I absolutely sucked at marketing. So I started out cold calling, and I got to the point where I was able to take 5 to 7 listings on average every month from FSBOs, expireds for rent by owners, et cetera, et cetera. And now for the last 10, 12 years, my company and I have been training agents across the US and Canada, and our client, we're respected by all the top industry vendors of CRMs and lead providers, and our clients number in the top 5% of the Real Trends mega list of 1,000 mega teams. And here's the reason that I'm telling you this is because anybody can tell you how to talk to leads. Anybody can tell you, oh, follow my script, say this when they say that, or open like this, or handle their objection like that. But the truth is that a lot of trainers and gurus in our industry just talk from theory. They haven't actually done it themselves. They haven't done it over a long period of time themselves, and they haven't done it successfully. They also haven't taught other people to do it successfully. And unfortunately, there's a lot of misleading, incorrect, and frankly, harmful sales training that's out there. So in developing my unscripted system, my intention was initially it was to, how can I ramp inside sales agents fast? Because you're paying an inside sales agent, right? You're paying them a monthly pay to sit there and work your leads for you. Well, I didn't have, 3 years, 5 years for them to figure out how to be a really accomplished salesperson and be able to convert at a high level. So what I said is, how do really skilled salespeople think in any situation when they get into a conversation, when they're writing messaging to a lead, when they're trying to handle objections, when they're closing for an appointment, when they're telling this person why they should choose them instead of another salesperson? How do they think? How do they orient themselves? And how do they make decisions in a conversation? And a big part of what underpins the unscripted system and why it's different is because we also look at, how do we as consumers look at salespeople? How do we think about salespeople? How do we interpret what they're saying to us or what they're asking from us in a sales situation? So how do we blend those two together into a system that can ramp skills very quickly, but also fly under the radar of, I don't want to talk to a salesperson, or I'm going to reject a salesperson? All that put together is the unscripted system. So it covers messaging that gets leads to respond, intros that keep them on the phone, discovery and rapport questions that keep them talking, an objection process that melts resistance, a compelling value proposition, a process that helps you book appointments early. We all know that 70% of people meet with the first agent that they meet with, or work with the first agent they meet with. How can we book those appointments early? A process that eases contract presentations, and a process to present and defend your commission. So, and then a process really to keep all of this together and deal with the other agent, deal with your clients, deal with their clients, etc. So today we're going to be talking about, and out of when I say 4, I've kind of grouped some of them together that I'm going to pull out for you guys today. I'm going to be teaching you these things today. We're going to be talking about the appointment process. We're going to be talking about value proposition. Why should I buy or sell with you? We're going to be talking about discovery and rapport, as well as objections. And we're going to talk about intros, how you first get into a conversation. So even though I said the 4 scripting areas, I pulled out a bunch of these pieces for you guys, and I'm going to be demonstrating them to you today. And this full system, successful agents invest $6,000 to get certified in this sales conversion system. And occasionally we host a 2-day unscripted masterclass where I teach the complete unscripted system for a lot less than $6,000. You might be thinking, why is Dale telling me about what he's selling before he even teaches me something for free? That way you can figure out whether you like what I'm saying, whether the stuff I give you for free is worth it, and whether you want to come and join us in our masterclass. That's why. And because you guys are Agent Legend clients, I am giving you guys 10% off if you want to come and join us on the next 2-day masterclass. You can save 10%. Use the coupon code Agent Legend. You can reach it at this QR code here. And I'll talk about this again at the end, so don't freak out. Don't worry. You can also I'm going to go ahead and skip past this. You can also download these slides. There's a QR code down here at the bottom. I'm also going to talk about that offer again at the end after I blow your mind with all the free training that I'm going to give you. If that sounds good, say yes. Let's see. I see a question in the chat. I'm actually not seeing the attendee chat. I'm seeing Agent Legend comments, which is totally fine. And I see we have a question. What should an agent say in the first 10 seconds of a call to keep a lead from hanging up? Great question. I'm going to talk about that today. First, I need you to understand a few things before I get into what to say in the first 10 seconds. How do I see the people comments? Studio chat, 2 people. Agent Steve.
They should be flowing. We'll just keep nudging the audience. It's a little early right now. We got about 15 or so people on live.
Got it. Okay, cool. No worries.
We got a couple here. I'll keep putting them up there for you, Dale.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, I'm going to get to the intro stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you what to say. Let's talk about this first. Dale, the leads suck. Dale, the leads won't answer. Dale, the leads won't talk to me. They won't tell me what they're doing. All they say is that they're not doing it now. They'll talk to me later. They won't meet with me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard all of these things 100 bajillion times. And here's what I can tell you. I have personally taken business from every lead source. I have personally closed business running every type of lead source in a real estate team. Every lead source works. Every lead source converts. Here's the problem that I find with salespeople. It's summarized with the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'm going to explain to you what that is. It's a cognitive bias where people with limited knowledge or competence in a particular area overestimate their own skill, okay? Meaning a lot of you are not quite as good at sales or lead conversion as you think you are. And let me demonstrate this for you. This is the example of the Dunning-Kruger effect and how it works.
On April 19th, 1995, MacArthur Wheeler robbed a bank with his face glazed with lemon juice, believing the juice would make his face invisible to the surveillance cameras. He thought so because lemon juice works as invisible ink on a piece of paper. Police broadcasted the security camera footage on the local 11 o'clock news, and just after midnight, Arthur was arrested. Incredulously, he said, "But I wore the juice." Baffled by this reasoning, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, 2 psychologists, studied Mr. Wheeler and others like him. They came to the conclusion that people with low ability at a task tend to, paradoxically, overestimate themselves. This cognitive bias is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Let's look at this graphically, plotting one's confidence in your ability against one's actual knowledge in a field. As we learn something new, we are often highly confident because we know so little that as soon as we know a tiny bit, we think we know it all. Those who stop learning here maintain a false sense of mastery. Those who continue learning realize things are more complex and often lose motivation. And the more they increase their knowledge, the lower their confidence becomes. Many stop at this stage, thinking they've learned nothing. Only if we keep going can we regain confidence while getting better. And at the end, we will be full of knowledge and almost as confident in our ability as right after we started.
So the reason that I point this out is because every once in a while, when I have students come to us, sales students, right, who want to learn how to sell better, occasionally they're like, yeah, I kind of suck in these areas, or I don't really know how to do this. I want to improve my skills. A lot of times, though, when I'm working with teams and I'm working with agents, they complain about the leads. The leads suck. They don't convert. It's a waste of time. And then what I do is I go and I look at what they're writing and I listen to what they're saying. And it's very obvious that they don't have the sales skills that they need to be able to earn a response from the prospect that they're messaging, or get the lead to continue talking to them, or tell them who they are, or what their plans are, or to actually get an appointment booked with them. But the individual agents don't realize how bad their skills actually are. And so please forgive me for bringing that up, but everybody goes through this. And said another way, I can point it out like this. So let's say this is all knowledge, right? And with regard to sales, this is all knowledge. This is what you know, okay? You know how to write an offer. You know how to get into contract. You know how to, for my mortgage people, you know how to take an application. You know how to do these things, right? You know where you live. You know how to drive a car. These are the things you know that you know. Now, if you showed up here today, there is some area that you know that you don't know, right? You're like, oh, what are the 4 scripting mistakes that I'm making currently? How can I talk to people better? Why can't I get these people to book with me? Why can't I get these mortgage applicants to call me back, right? Why can't I get the leads from my agent to actually get on the phone with me to take an application? Those are the things that you don't know. It's what you're here to get. Then all the rest of this is what you don't know that you don't know. So this is what you came for today. The things you know that you don't know. This is where the big money is. The stuff that you don't know that you don't know. What do I mean by that? What I mean is when I listen to a call by a salesperson and they screw up the intro, if I read the messaging that an agent is writing to the leads to try to get them to answer or interact, they don't know the things that they don't recognize what they're writing that's preventing the lead from actually answering them. So they think they need some help, but they don't realize that the things they're doing are actually working against them. That's the whole point. So if you're having trouble either converting your real estate leads or getting your real estate leads to talk to your mortgage person, or the other way around, getting your, if you are a lender partner and you're struggling to help your agent partner get these leads converted, it all comes down to what is this interaction like on the front end? So everybody has blind sides. We all have stuff we don't know about our own behavior or the things that we're saying and how they impact our results. Your blind sides are hiding your commission checks and your closings. We recently worked with a real estate lead cold calling company to improve their results. I'm just not talking about who it is here, only because I don't promote any done for you ISA type companies. I believe that we as salespeople get the best result when we improve our own sales skill, or we convert our leads in-house instead of paying a third party to do it. So here's what we worked on. We worked on their complete intro script, their initial objection response, and their live transfer process. Getting a prospect, so these are ISAs calling an average mix of real estate leads, right? PPC, social media inquiries, getting them on the phone, keeping them on the phone, and then getting them to talk to an agent to talk about what their home buying or selling plans are. So these are the areas that we worked on. Their standard introduction, when we took a measurement, I said, okay, well, how many minute plus conversations are you able to get? So they took a measurement from the beginning of the year when we started working. They started out of the 13,325 conversations that they were able to get where somebody answered the phone, 3.4% of those went to a minute plus. After we changed just the words that the ISA set up front, in the next 1,807 conversations, 15.9% of those went to a minute plus. We more than tripled the number of minute plus conversations they were able to get with the same mix of leads, just simply changing the words that were used up front. That is massively powerful. Took them from 6 minute plus convos per day to 21 convos per day. Then we changed their live transfer process. How the ISA went or transitioned from I'm talking to this lead to will you talk to an agent? And that success rate in the prior 20 days to us working with them, they had 24 of those where somebody stayed on the phone and talked to an agent. So that was about 1.2 per day. After I changed the process for them, in the next 7 days, they got 27 of those. So that went up to 3.8 per day. They got 1.2 per day with theirs, 3.8 per day with ours, right? Over more than a 3 times improvement, just in the same lead mix. So how did we do that? We did it just by changing the words up front that they were using. That's how. That's all we have as salespeople. Our words, the words we choose, the order we put them in, and the tone that we deliver them with. Let's see if we have any questions before I move on to the next one. First 10 seconds. Mark Twain, we need is ignorance and confidence and success. Sure. That's funny.
Dale, I got more of an observation around, a 3 to 16% increase, right? 3% minute plus, right? That's what we just broke down.
Yeah.
And you'll probably get into, will you be getting into like kind of some of the word changes that you use? Are people using, I know I get periodic, messages sent to me or on TikTok in my scroll. It's the, cold callers that are filming themselves. And it's that common, it may have been from a webinar that you did as well of, hey, Bill or Tom, you're really going to hate me. This is a cold call. Are you teaching some of that methodology that seems to be persisting out there, kind of that approach? But maybe you're
and that's one of the worst, that's one of the worst scripts going on in the universe right now.
I'd love to get your perspective on it, but I hope that you kind of go into some of those little, just the tweaks that you've made, just so folks can see some of that. But another one that came up prior to the call, and you may be getting into this around the introduction of AI, right? And this is maybe part of this, is with recordings, using AI to analyze calls. There's pros and cons to that, right? We've been seeing some of that because everybody thinks AI can solve everything. How are you guys incorporating some of that in, whether it's the coaching or just tools that you're now incorporating with the introduction of AI into being able to record and for recommendations? Because we're still in the human to human business, but AI seems to be injecting itself in just about every piece of our business. How are you guys seeing it with, as you're incorporating it in your curriculum?
Sure. So I'm going to answer those two questions. One, I teach principles, and what you're going to see, Steve, is first I'm going to teach how us consumers think and how we regard salespeople. And so then it will become pretty self-evident why some of those dumb scripts like, hi, this is a sales call, or this is a cold call, or would you hate me if I told you, or do you have a minute to talk now, right? Yeah. Any of those before you hang up, like those are so terrible. You're going to see self-evidently why those are so terrible after I teach this. And then it's way easier than people make it. Okay. That's one. And I'm going to show them how to make it super easy. Two, here's my experience so far. AI, I listen to calls all the time, and we absolutely do record calls. Here's my problem with AI. First of all, there's a lot of bad sales trainers out there and a lot of bad sales theory, and AI is no better than any of that that's already existing in the world. AI is no better at a salesperson than some of our worst salespeople that are out there, frankly. So I'm not worried about AI taking my job anytime soon. People will use it. Doesn't mean that it's good for them. I'll put it this way. This is my personal opinion on AI and sales. I will start to worry when AI can do a better job at customer support than humans can do. And they still haven't nailed that yet. So if they can nail that, then I'll start worrying about them nailing sales. Yep.
I got some other AI questions. We'll table those for now. So let's keep you going here.
Okay, hold on. I look like Casper the Ghost. Let me shut my window blinds.
While we're waiting on Dale to come back here, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. Any question is fair game. So want to make sure that we're adding some value to your day to day here, guys. So feel free to jump in the chat. But Dale,
I think a good. What's that?
Said you're looking much better.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a good question, if they can pop them in, or a statement really, is like prompt them, see if they want to drop their hardest objections they're dealing with right now.
Done. All right. We'll get to work on it. Go ahead, Dale.
Very cool. So let's first talk about why leads resist. And, Steve was talking about intros. Hey, Dale, what do you think about these gimmicky intros? I'm going to first tell you why people resist, and then you can figure out what you think about the gimmicky intros. So if I can't see that, I don't know if we have chat working or not. I want to know what you guys hate about salespeople. Chat it in. Chat in what you hate about salespeople. What do you hate about salespeople? Really like the first 10 seconds question. Tell me what you hate about salespeople. They tell me what I want to hear. Pushy. Yep. Don't listen. Yep. What else, guys? What do you hate about salespeople? Okay, good. So let's go through this scenario, right? Let's say it's a warm summer day and you've got some time to kill. You're picking up your dry cleaning or getting your kid from dance class or whatever it is. But you've got some time to kill. And so there just happens to be this beautiful, shiny car dealership next door with all these nice, shiny cars out there. So you're just going to go walk around and look at some cars to kill the time. You don't have a budget to buy a car today. You don't have a need to buy a car today. You don't even want to buy a car today, but you're going to go walk around out there. So you're walking around, then you see this guy. This is Jeff. Jeff sells cars. Jeff starts to approach you. Now I want you to chat in for me. What is Jeff's purpose? Chat it in. What is Jeff's purpose? Chat it in. Look at this chat. How crazy is that? Look at my screen. To sell you a car. Now, this is even more important. How did I know that you guys were going to say to sell me a car? How did I know that? Here's how I know that. Because I intentionally put you into the mind of a consumer before I asked you that question. If I didn't put you into that mindset first, I would have gotten all kind of salesperson answers like, well, Jeff's job is to build rapport with you. His job is to get to know you, to find out what your needs are, to see if he can help you and your family, to build his database, right? To build his book of car buying business. You would have given me all those kind of salesperson answers. When I forced you to put your mindset into that of a consumer, do you know what you did to Jeff? You reduced Jeff down to one single idea. That's what you did. You said, oh, he's a sales guy. His sole purpose is to sell me a car. He has no other value to me. He has no other relevance to me other than to sell a car. This is an important distinction that I need you guys to understand. A big reason why you're not winning with the leads is because they're doing to you what you just did to Jeff. I hope you understand that. That's a core tenet of the unscripted process. So from a consumer's perspective, salespeople represent one thing always. They represent being ready to make a decision or take an action. That is all that we represent to a consumer. When you get rejected, when they say no, when they won't answer your texts or emails, it's because you represent this one thing to them and they're not ready for it. Does that make sense? Chat in yes if that makes sense. We have all of the Steves in North America on this chat today.
I was thinking the same thing. That's so great.
I was like, does Steve have multiple profiles or something?
We are a dying breed, man. That's so
I'm glad
great.
to see there's still a lot of Steves out there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That makes sense, right, everybody? This is a basic core premise. In fact, if you just never forget this one thing, it's going to improve what you do going forward. We represent one thing to consumers. Nobody wants to talk to a salesperson before they're ready to buy or sell, or unless they have important questions they can't otherwise find a sufficient answer for. Okay, so now we have that baseline established and proof because you people just acted like consumers with Jeff, the poor car sales guy here. So here's what bad salespeople do. Bad salespeople pressure us into actions or decisions, don't care about our wants or needs, will exaggerate, falsify, or even straight out lie to get what they want, talk over us, disregard us, don't listen to us, can't be trusted, are fake and annoying at best, should be avoided at all costs. And this is an important one. I want you to write this down. Push because they want. Bad salespeople push us because they want something. Now, on the other side, good salespeople take no for an answer. Demonstrate true care and concern, support our best interests, don't waste our time, are prepared and professional, are real people too, just like us, don't do any of the things that bad salespeople do, and here's the important distinction. They push because they care. Quick question to the crowd. Who decides, you as a salesperson, when you're in an interaction with a lead or prospect, Who decides whether you're pushing because you care or pushing because you want? Chat it in for me. Who decides whether you push because you care or push because you want? Stay active on the chat. Well, we don't have any guesses yet. I'm just going to tell you. It's the consumer who decides. The consumer decides whether you're pushing because you care or pushing because you want. And unfortunately, you can have the best of intentions and they still interpret it as you pushing because you want something. You can have bad intentions, but if you're good enough at sales, at hiding it, you can get away with it and push them because you're only concerned about yourself. So it all comes down to how you come across to them. So area number one that people struggle with, let's talk about booking appointments. And then I'll give you the one thing you want, which is how do we get into conversations with people. But let's talk about booking appointments. Booking a meeting with a lead who asks for one or obviously wants one is basic customer service. That's worth $25 an hour. Booking a meeting with a lead before they think they're ready for one is the work of a skilled salesperson. That's worth $500 an hour plus. Which job do you want? I can tell you which one I want. So what they're thinking, what these consumers are thinking, why should I meet with an agent before I'm ready to list my home or buy a home? Agents just want me to sign a contract or lock me into an agreement. Agents just want to push me to move faster before I'm ready. All agents only represent one thing. These are the things we have to deal with. So here's some common issues around appointments. People, agents especially, I'm talking about agents mostly because we're talking about real estate leads, give up too easily or don't even ask at all. They're weak at persuading or convincing. They close too early. Do me this favor, everybody. Write this down. Write down always be closing. Write down always be closing. And now I want you to cross that out because that is total BS. Your first close is your best close. After you close somebody for an action or decision, it becomes increasingly harder to change their answer and get them to consider saying yes or doing what you're asking. It also makes it harder to get them to give you any more information about their decision making that you need to use to change their mind. First close is the best close. Selling past the close, right? They agreed to something and you keep pitching, you keep persuading. That's when you lose it. Burying the ask. You ask them for an appointment or you ask them for a next step, and then you keep talking past it. No clear, compelling results for the lead. I hear this all the time. Why would a consumer want to meet with a salesperson? There has to be a good reason for them to take that risk. They really have to get something out of it that they actually want. Closing directly into an objection. And I think I'm going to show you an example of that here. Not logical or no stated or implied need or want. If you ask somebody for an action or a decision, but they didn't say they want or need anything, you're probably going to get a no to that. And then a readiness mismatch. And what I mean by that, and I'll talk about it, is just the language that you use is too immediate for where the prospect is at right now. When I listen to salespeople try to close for an appointment, they usually only have one speed of language, and that speed is right now. Basic appointment format. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell them a story about them. Tell a story about the great results or outcomes they'll get by meeting. Then tell them the nasty thing they need to do to get those results or outcome, which is meet with an agent. This is the basic appointment format. So I'm coming at real estate appointments, right? Buyer consults, listing appointments, or even if your agent partner is trying to get them to talk to you, the mortgage professional, to run numbers or talk about financials or figure out what they can afford or come up with a financing strategy for buying the property, right? That's just 4 ways of saying the same thing. But your real estate partner is going to orient it in this way, right? Oh, hey, that's amazing. You guys have that much time and you're buying your first house. And since you really haven't talked to anybody about how that works, my partner who handles the financing end of this could really help you understand the best strategy for saving money, saving interest, as well as trying to keep your cost and payment as low as possible. So I can set you guys up on a quick 10 or 15 minute phone call this week sometime so that you can find out that information, which day works best for you. So you just heard me follow this format to book a mortgage conversation, right? A financing conversation, an application. Steve, is that the kind of stuff you want?
That's
the
cool.
words.
That's gold. Keep that coming. And in the chat too, guys, there's other stuff. I think I saw one earlier. I'll dig that one back up, Dale, but that stuff right there is gold. And we'll make sure we clip some of this.
Good. Yeah. So this is the basic format for asking for an appointment. Keeps it clean. When you tell somebody the story about them, they're saying, yep, that's me. And that makes sense. And then you're telling them the things they're going to get. That makes it relevant for them, right? Here's the things you're going to get. These are the results you're going to get. And then we go down to here's the bad thing you got to do, right? You got to meet with a salesperson. You got to talk to a salesperson. Here we go. Sometimes I'll ask if they have a moment or if there's a time I may follow up. Want to respect their time. Okay, let me answer that question. That is a perfect thing to do for somebody that you have a high degree of know, like, trust, or rapport built with already. Totally respectful. So Steve is an industry person just like me, right? We're both business owners. We know who each other are. We've already interacted. If I called Steve up out of the blue, it'd probably sound like, hey, Steve, it's Dale. Did I catch you at a good time, man? Do you have a couple minutes or should I call you at another time? That's because we know each other and because we have a high degree of rapport built already. Do not ask a stranger. Do not ask a lead who didn't ask to talk to you or doesn't know you at all if they have time to talk to you. Don't ask them if it's a good time. You've already interrupted them. When you ask, do you have time to talk? Can I ask you a question? You've just wasted more of their time. You asked them a question that could have been a better question. Do you remember what I said about good salespeople? Good salespeople don't waste our time. If you call me out of the blue, you are wasting my time if you ask me if you can ask me a question. Just ask your damn question. You've already interrupted me. Does that make sense, everybody? Hopefully that makes sense.
Ask your damn question.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Good. Okay, let me move on. Value propositions. This is super important. Okay. For agents, this is going to be super important. Mortgage partners, it's going to be super important for you to script your agent partner about this, especially. And I'm probably going to guess that you as the mortgage partner probably don't have a very good value proposition either. So you should pay attention to this too. What do I mean by that? Real estate agents are just like any other salesperson. They're a dime a dozen. They all do the same thing and just barely make a difference in a real estate transaction, said by the ignorant consumer, which we could say the same about mortgage people, right? From the ignorant consumer. You have to prove them wrong. That's your job. Your value proposition. Why should I buy or sell a home with you instead of one of the other agents I know? It has to answer that question. What unique results will I get working with you? What experience or knowledge or approach do you have that sets you apart from every other agent? Mortgage guys and ladies, same question for you, right? Why should I buy my gas from you when I can get it across the street for 15 cents cheaper? You have to answer that question. Value props, common issues. What do I mean by value proposition? So value proposition is how you would answer the question, why you? Why should I work with you? Why not somebody else, right? What can you do for me? And here's the issues that we hear a lot in the recordings of agents, because that's primarily what I do. They just don't have one at all. I can't tell you the number of times that I've done webinar training. I've spoken from stage. I've taught live classes where I said, hey, who wants to come up here on stage right now and tell everybody why they should buy a house with you instead of another agent? Out of a room of 150 agents, I might get 2 people that raise their hand that have the balls to come up and do it. If they can't do it, how confident do you think they are in their conversations with people to win the business or move the ball forward? They're not. So you got to have one. And if they do, or they start saying things, it's too wordy, it's not punchy enough, there are no clear results for the prospect, right? You guys ever heard that thing like nobody wants to buy a drill, they want holes, right? I'm not trying to buy a drill. I just want the holes that it makes. My need is a hole, not a drill. What are the results? I don't need an agent. I don't need a mortgage lender. I need a really good affordable mortgage. I need an amazing house. I need a great amount of money for my property quickly, right? That's what my pain is. That's what my need is. How are you going to prove to me that you're going to get that for me? Or they're too generic. They sound like vague things that all agents say. Hey, I'm going to help you find the perfect house, right? I'm the best agent. I'm the number one agent. If I had a nickel for every number one agent, I wouldn't be selling training. Not customized for the individual lead. It's too generic. No idea where and when to use them. They don't know how to use a value proposition properly. I have a great example for you. So I was just working with a team that I'm training right now. One of their agents, Alex, he goes, "Oh my God, Dale, I just used the value proposition you taught me the other day. I got to the house. This was one of those touring requests from Zillow. I hadn't talked to them before. I show up blind. And of course, I put this contract in their face to get them to sign, which I had to talk with Alex about that problem. But he's like, they didn't want to sign it. I dropped my value proposition and they ended up signing it. I told them why they should work with me, why they should consider me, what the value and benefit was, right? And they signed it. So it's like that spot is where you use this kind of thing. They use them too much. They're constantly pitching or telling people how great they are, or they don't use them enough. They just never use it, don't know how to use it. So here's the core principles around value propositions. They build confidence, they establish validity, justifies you as a professional, justifies for the consumer they should take the risk in meeting or interacting with you. It sets you apart from just another agent, tells the consumer why they should work with you instead of another agent or doing it themselves. And it allows them to understand how they can trust you and feel confident in your services and how they know that you have the experience to help them. It covers all of those things. Here's your basic, I call it the elevator pitch, right? How you quickly answer that question. And you do it like this. We, or my team, with our knowledge, experience, or process, give you result, result, result. Super simple format, right? Hey, Dale, why should I buy a home with you? Oh, that's a great question. I've been selling real estate for the last 15 years, and I happen to have the number one team in this market, which means that we've sold hundreds and hundreds of homes every year, and it's allowed us to solidify our specific buyer process to make sure that you find the perfect home, get it at a great price, and avoid losing it to all the other buyers competing for homes right now in the market. Do you like that statement? Chat in yes if you like that statement. Would you feel more confident and comfortable if you could on the fly say something like that? It's that simple. It's just based on a framework. And I've cleaned it up for you so that you clearly understand. It's just enough information to make it believable. It ties down to a specific results that a buyer wants. You do the same thing for sellers. Do the same thing for mortgages, right? Why should I do my financing with you? And it's not that somebody always says, why should I do my financing with you? Here's how it comes up in the mortgage world. It comes up like, so-and-so said they could do it for less. So-and-so doesn't charge those fees, right? So-and-so told us we could get this rate. That's where you use it before you even get into the rate battle or the price battle. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's talk about discovery, rapport, and objections. So talking about ourselves is personal and makes us vulnerable. It bonds us to others quickly. However, we are wary of sharing with strangers. So when we talk about asking discovery and rapport questions, talking about a business transaction is impersonal, it's safer, but doesn't build much of an emotional bond. Both are critical to the sale. Talking about ourselves are the rapport questions. Business transaction questions are discovery, right? The balance between these two is an art form. So when consumers say no, and we're talking about objections here, when consumers say no, not yet, not with you, not in these circumstances, we consumers are not confused when we object, right? When I walked onto Jeff's car lot and I said, hey, Jeff, I'm not buying a car today, we had already thought about the fact that I didn't want a car, didn't need a car, didn't have a budget for a car. So if I say no to Jeff, it's not because I'm uninformed. It's not because I'm just being difficult. It's not because I'm hiding my intentions. We're not asking for more information or playing hard to get. We did the math, looked at the angles, and to the best of our ability, we solved the problem. Us salespeople, when it comes to objections, want to try to solve the problem better. So let's talk about discovery and rapport. Here's some common issues when you're doing your discovery and rapport questions. This goes for real estate as well as mortgage. You get stuck in discovery, right? Stuck on the sale. Discovery questions are about the sale. When are you buying? What are you buying? Why are you buying? Things like that, right? Those are discovery questions. And if you just keep asking discovery questions, it's telegraphing to the prospect that you're stuck on sales. Rapport can be tough to get because sometimes people don't want to give you their personal information. When I say personal information, I don't mean name, date of birth. What I mean is they don't want to tell you about themselves. They're not trying to build rapport with you. A lot of agents, salespeople don't actually know how to build rapport. It's shocking. Or they get uncomfortable asking personal questions to leads and prospects. They forget what to ask about. They get stuck on sales versus the consumer instead of collaboration, right? So they get stuck on sales instead of actually collaborating. So here's some common objection issues. The rollover and die. Oh, hey, we already have another agent. Okay, cool. Well, call me if that doesn't work out. Hey, would you want to talk to my lender and, talk about financing strategy? Oh, we're talking to our bank. Okay, never mind then, right? Let me know how that goes. That's the rollover and die. Closing when a prospect objects. Do not close into the face of an objection. Making them wrong. Educating without permission. Disagreeing with them, at least initially. Convincing, arguing, hard selling before they should. These are the objection issues. Right? And a lot of traditional sales training teaches you to do this stuff, and it's just wrong. It's counterproductive. So let's talk about intros and messaging. Now we're down to the intros and messaging, everybody. How do I get into a conversation with somebody? The first 7 to 10 seconds of your sales conversation with a stranger or cold lead controls 80% of your results. None of us wants to talk to a salesperson before we're ready to. That's how we start out. Not wanting to talk to salespeople. So with introductions, from the consumer's perspective, this is their universal response. When the phone rings and they answer the phone, regardless of what it is, they're thinking, who are you? Why are you calling me? What do you want? Okay. Now, the deeper response here is, should I engage with you at all? Should I trust you or not? What will I gain from giving you information? So in those script examples that Steve gave, the same ones that I see out there, the garbage that I see on the internet. We already established that nobody wants to talk to a salesperson, right? Nobody wants to talk to a salesperson until they're ready. Nobody wants to be cold called by a salesperson. So do you think it's a good idea to call them up and say, hi, this is a cold call? I'm going to give you guys a quick example. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just laughing at that. But one thing that comes to mind here, Dale, I wanted to jump in is how does this change now given, when people call me now or anybody on an iPhone, right? You have the buffer that says it's basically, who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? Yeah. How has that impacted what you guys are teaching?
I'll give you this script. So whenever I hit that iPhone screener, I just say the prospect's name and answer the phone.
Yeah, I like it.
So then all you see on your messages is Steve, answer the phone.
Oh, nice. All right. I like it.
You don't know who's calling.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll tell you from my own experience. So obviously we sell to real estate agents. 99% of them don't even know that that's turned on their phone. Most of your consumers don't know it's on their phone.
Yep.
So for right now, that's the approach that's been working.
Yep.
Steve, pick up the phone. Susie, pick up the phone. Larry, pick up the phone. That's all you do. And then they'll be like, what is this? And they're like, that's so weird. And then they answer the phone, right? And they're like, hello?
Yeah.
And I've done this probably 50 times and nobody has ever understood what was going on. Their phone was being weird. Yeah.
Smart. I like it.
All right, good. Okay. So this is what people are thinking when they first answer that phone. Now, we know from what I already told you, good salespeople don't waste our time. Good salespeople are professional and prepared, right? So what that means is I'm going to match your first word. I'll get back to that, but know who they are always. Okay. Have you guys have heard the scripting where it's like, Ben, I'm looking for Ben, right? Good salespeople are professional and prepared. So what does that mean? That means that if they're prepared, they know it's Ben when they answer the phone. Also, let me ask you this, and the chat's not super active, but in the year 2026, when your phone rings, right? If somebody calls your phone and they don't know who you are, first of all, anybody who calls your phone and knows who you are when you answer the phone. Who are the people that don't know who you are when you answer your phone? And they are likely a who? Likely a salesperson, right? So even from the very first word where you say Ben, you are signaling to Ben that you are most likely a telemarketer or salesperson. One more time, because I can't say this enough. Do any of us want to talk to a salesperson before we're ready? Yes or no? No. If the person on that other line, who I don't recognize, asks if it's me, I'm like, we got a winner. 90% chance this is a salesperson. I'm already turned off to this call even further. So here's what I say. Know who they are always. Don't worry about whether you're talking to the right person or not. You're going to be assumptive that it is the right person so that when you're right, you have the advantage. If you're wrong, guess what happens? If it's not Ben, if it's not Susie, if it's not their property, they're just going to tell you it's no big deal. You haven't lost anything. You lose a lot if you show up asking if it's them every time. You lose the advantage. Then I also say match their first word. Where you can, if they say hello, you say hello. If they say hi, you say hi. If they say hey, you say hey. Why? Because every little advantage you can get that will keep somebody on that phone longer, this is how we tripled, not just this one technique, but all the techniques combined tripled the number of people that were willing to have a minute plus conversation. This is one of the techniques. Match the first word because it's easy. It's cheap. It doesn't not match, if that makes sense. And it forces you to be actively listening from the very beginning. No salutation, okay? A lot of the garbage scripting that I hear out there has a lot of stuff before you get to the damn point, right? Now, what did we say everybody wants to know? What do all of us want to know? We want to know who you are, why you're calling us, and what you want or want to know as quickly as you can deliver it. Just get rid of salutations. The how are you doing? How's your day? Don't use it with strangers. Use it with people who know, like, and trust you. Use it with people you have rapport with. Use it with people you're in process with or past clients, okay? Ask them an action question. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you accepting offers, right? Are you looking to get financing? Then play to their likely objection. Or are you just window shopping? Or have you taken it off the market? Or have you already gotten an amazing quote for mortgage, right? Why would I do that? Why would I offer them an objection to give back to me? Dale, that's totally counterintuitive. We can't do that. They're going to get off the phone with us. Wait, what is one of the principles I said that good salespeople do? Good salespeople take no for an answer, okay? I've just interrupted you. I'm going to do my best that I can to tell you who I am, tell you why I'm calling you, ask you what I want to know, but I'm also going to demonstrate for you that I will take no for an answer so that you can take that no that you're holding on to and really want to give me and get rid of it. Because once you get rid of that first no, then they calm down a little bit, right? They're like, oh, God, thank God I got that no out. Now they're much more likely to have a conversation with you at least for the next 3 to 5 minutes. And if you're really good, 7 to 8 minutes. Okay. Inbound or hot. This is the structure for your leads. This is how you get in. Okay. This is the intro. You're going to say, I know who you are, right? Meaning, hi, Ben. Hi, Tracy. Hello, Susan. Here's who I am. I'm Dale with Amazing Realty. I'm going to tell them how I can help them or what I want from them, right? here's what I can do for you, or how can I help you, right? That's a basic intro script. And that's for inbound or hot leads. Showing or info requests on a house. Here's the structure. I know who you are. Here's who I am. When would you like to see the property? That's pretty much it, right? Notice I'm not asking if they have any questions about the property. If they have questions before seeing it, they're going to redirect me, but I don't want to try to invite questions on the property. Just book the appointment. Here's outbound or cold leads. I know who you are. Hi, Ben. Here's who I am. I'm Dale with Amazing Realty. Here's what you did to call me to call or contact you. You registered on my site. You requested your home's value. You requested a tour on this property, right? This is what you did to cause this conversation. That's the why I'm calling you. Here's what I want. Here's the specific action I want to know if you're going to take. Are you planning on buying in the next few months? Are you still accepting offers on your home? Or are you accepting offers on your home? Or you could choose this objection if you're likely to give me anyway. Or are you just window shopping at this point? Or are you just getting started, right? This is the structure for your outbound cold call. This is what a lot of the calls to PPC leads, website leads, like social media leads, that's the way this structure goes. It's super simple. Hi, or hey, or hello, Ben, this is Dale Archdeacon with Amazing Realty. Looks like you registered on my website to look at homes for sale. Just wanted to see if you're planning on buying in the next few months or if you're just window shopping at this point. That is the most solid intro that you can get. That tripled the minute plus conversations for that ISA company. Just that structure right there. And those couple of strategies up front. Steve, does that answer your question?
Yep, sure does.
And I want to point this out. I didn't waste your time to ask you if I can ask you a question. I didn't ask you if now's a good time. I didn't tell you to not hang up on me, which just basically tells you you should probably hang up on me, right? Because other people have.
Yep.
Just go straight into it. This is the most effective way to get an answer from Steve. And then Steve is either going to say, oh yeah, we're thinking of doing this thing, or, oh yeah, I'm just window shopping at this point. So everybody wants to know what happens when they give you the objection back, Dale. If you're talking to real estate leads, then you're going to switch into rapport-based questions, right? You're going to ask present tense questions at that point. Who are you now? Where are you now? Hey, do you currently live in this market, or are you relocating here? Do you currently own your home, or are you guys renting? What neighborhoods are you interested in, right? Those are present tense questions that will just continue the conversation with these people. Okay, old and cold, this is the structure. I know who you are. Here's who I am. Here's what you did to cause me to call or contact you. Here's why you don't remember. Here's the specific action I want to know if you're going to take. Or you could just choose this objection you're likely going to give me anyway. Outbounds like FSBO, expired, cold people that are resistant already. I know who you are. Here's who I am. Here's a simple distraction question that hides my intent but aligns with what you want, so you're most likely to answer me. In the case of FSBOs, that would be like, hey, are you offering to pay a commission to an agent that brings you a buyer? That would be a simple distraction question. My real intent is to talk to you about listing your house, but I can't tell you that up front. Here's an alternative. I know who you are. Here's who I am. This is the likely objections you have and why they don't apply to me. Here's what I'd like to offer you. Here's why you should take it, right? This would sound like in a highly competitive market. Oh, hey, Steve. Yeah, I'm Dale with whatever realty. Listen, I can see that you're trying to sell your home on your own. I'm not calling you to try to list it. I just wanted to see if I was willing to invest my own time and money to drive more buyers to your home to see if I can get higher offers on it, if you'd be interested in more details about that, right? That's what that sounds like. Any outbound lead. Here's who I am. Here's a story. Here's where you fit in. Here's some third-party validation for what I'm saying. Here's an implied reason you should go along with helping me. And here's a simple question you can answer without committing to anything or violating any rules. This script structure is the one that I use when I have to call around to find out if pharmacies have my daughter's ADHD meds, because they're trained that when somebody calls up and says, hi, do you have this specific ADHD med? They have to say, I'm sorry, sir, it's company policy. I can't tell you. This script here will get them to tell you. All right, so here's what we covered. That's a lot. I covered a lot today, and it was only these highlighted areas. What do you think, Steve? Do we have any other questions?
I got a couple. I have a couple. I know we're at time here. We'll get these all bulleted out. But Dale, this was, I know it takes an hour. Hopefully folks had some good heads down time on these concepts. But I'll let you, Dale, wrap this up. And then I just want to highlight a couple key takeaways. I actually invited our own sales team. They jumped on here, a couple of them. Cool. So I think this is applicable, not just, sales, not even sales 101, you're taking it a couple steps further. So really high value add stuff. And we love doing these. So it's not always product focused and nice. Selling certain services. So this is very, very helpful. So why don't you highlight here a little bit more about the package and the items here. And then I'm going to highlight just a few, like my one key takeaway. If folks took nothing else from this, I just want to highlight like our key takeaway on our end.
That sounds great, man. Yeah. So the next Unscripted Masterclass where I'm teaching all of these things, I gave you guys a snippet today. If you want to come and learn more and from front to back, how to structure these things all the way down to the closings, appointments, like commissions. We talk about everything in the masterclass. It's 2 days live on Zoom. It's $197 a person. You can buy the recordings. If you don't know that you can make it the whole time, you get to save 10% through Agent Legend if you sign up by this Friday. So that's pretty much it.
Love it. Yeah, no, the items that I took, because I see it a lot, right? We work with a lot of clients that they're investing in lead generation. And I'll start there around the people that they put at the front lines is they're new and they pay for leads as a team leader or a broker owner. You're paying for leads, and then you put people in those seats. And the video that you shared, the Dunning-Kruger effect, I think is one that it'd be nice to share the link to that and just, folks can listen to that again in the car. But I see it all the time is like you give them just enough information to be dangerous. But then they're out there kind of faking it until they make it. And we tell them you need to have repetition and you'll continually get better. But they don't invest in like the skills training, the unscripted items that just become innate in your mind as a salesperson. And you're burning, at the end of the day, the owners that are on here, we're burning money. And if you're the person making the calls, you're burning time. And the results aren't going to be there. And so I know we see that a lot. We've had our own challenges with our salespeople on, we just throw them out there. I think some of them are on this call and they're shaking their heads. So that was my big takeaway. I just threw it out to our team in Slack. So Dale, I really appreciate you jumping on here today. And I know we're out of time. We're a little bit over time. So we'll get, these questions. I see a couple other questions coming in. We'll get to those as well, but want to respect everybody's schedule for the rest of the remainder of the day. So thank you, Dale. We'll have to do this again.
Absolutely. That sounds great. I want to say one thing about that, Steve. Here's what I've discovered about selling sales training. The most effective way that I've been able to sell sales training is not by teaching this, not by telling people they need better skills. It's actually getting them onto a call with me and role playing with them. When they have to get their noses rubbed in their own crap, like with somebody, that's when they're like, okay, I think I need help, right? And I haven't found anything that closes a sale like that.
Yeah. Great intel. I mean, and we just got to be willing to take that step. So for those of you with the last seconds, get that QR code scanned. And then if you have any questions, everyone, we'll have our team going to be reaching out to you, and we'll put you in touch with Dale. And then Dale will also have his team reach out as well. So if there's anything else that you guys need, we're here to assist. So Dale, thank you so much. This is action-packed, value-added stuff, and we really appreciate you doing it. So thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Great rest of your afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.